The Weirdo at McDonald's. When I was growing up, my dad and I lived with my grandparents. My parents had me while they were teenagers, and my dad got full custody because he lived with my grandparents, and my mum was just living with random friends, going from house to house every few weeks. I was the daughter my grandparents never had, and they doted on me. When I was 6, my grandpa passed away from cancer. This story takes place about 5 months after he passed away. This was, I believe, a Saturday, and my dad was at work. My gram decided to take me to McDonald's for lunch, and, like any 6-year-old, I was really excited. So we go to the McDonald's that was about 1.5 miles from our house, order our lunch, and sit down at a table to eat. At the time, we were the only ones eating inside. About 10 minutes after we sit down, a scraggly looking man walks in, orders a meal, and sits down at the table diagonally in front of us to the left. The area we lived in was middle and upper middle class, so this guy looked pretty out of place. Grandma did back to him, but I could see him perfectly. This man was at least in his mid-50s, with really wiry, scraggy and dirty white hair and beard. He had on blue shorts and a white t-shirt, also kinda dirty, and sandals. It's amazing. This happened 21 years ago, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. So, I noticed that, under the table, this man had something dark pink and wrinkly on his lap, and he kept glancing at me and rubbing it every few seconds. In kindergarten, we learnt about stranger danger and good touch, bad touch, and learned which parts of our body people weren't supposed to touch. It clicked in my 6-year-old head that this man was not supposed to have that out like that, nor doing what he was doing. I got really queasy and nervous. I didn't want to tell my gram right then and there, because I thought the man would have hurt us. If my dad had have been there, I would have said something, because my dad was my hero and could take on anybody. Instead, I put my Happy Meal box in front of my face, so my view of this guy would be blocked. I had about half of my food left, but had lost my appetite. Gram asked me if I was full, and I just nodded yes. I was, and still am, very petite, so not finishing a full meal was nothing new for me. She asked me if I wanted to go play in the play area before we left, but I just shook my head and quietly said, I want to go home. Gram cleared our table, and we left. When we got home, I was still really nervous, and I felt like I was going to throw up. Gram asked me, "What's the matter, Munchkin?" her pet name for me, and I started crying, and told her about the man at McDonald's and what I saw. My Gram didn't panic, or freak, or get hysterical. She just hugged me, and said it's alright, go onto your room and play, and I'll take care of it. She wiped my tears, gave me a blueberry Kool-Aid burst, and told our dog Patches to go to my room with me, which she did. After I was out of earshot, Gram called the McDonald's and told them about the guy. He was still there. The manager told Gram he'd take care of it and call her back. An hour later, the manager calls back and tells Gram they called the police, who showed up in record time and arrested the guy. When the police told the man to stand up, his frank and beans were still hanging out of his shorts. The manager also told Gram that she could bring me back for a month's worth of coupons for free Happy Meals. Hello friends, the Deathless Lord Cerberus here. I do hope you enjoyed this thrilling McDonald's tale. It was a short and sweet story, but frightening nonetheless, wouldn't you agree? It's been a long time since I've narrated for you guys, but I'm back now. Expect regular videos, more frequent videos, coming soon, because there'll be more creepypastas, more true horror stories, and more nightmares coming very soon.